Welcome to Friends at Gameology, hosted by MoonlightCrew.com.
Reviews for science.
In 7 minutes or less. Quantum! Today we talk about an area control skirmish game. I feel like it's a weird thing to call it skirmish when it's not really a miniatures game, but
in space.
It is a space game. In this game, you've got these dice, and you roll them, and instead of saying, like, I want to do this thing, roll to see if I can, no. You roll your dice, and then with what you're given, you decide what you're going to do. Because your dice represent spaceships. And if you see here, I've got 2, 3, and 6. That means this ship can move 2 spaces per turn, 3, and 6. Let's say the stronger ships are the lower ships. They can only, like the 1 is the strongest, but it can only move 1, whereas the 6 is the weakest, but it can really get around the board pretty quickly. Why do you want to move around the board? I'm glad you asked, because the point of the game is to put out these quantum cubes. And to do so, you need to surround the planet, or at least get in the orthogonal spots, with the sum of your dice faces equaling the number here. And we've got 9s, 7s, 8s, and 10s. Now this map is set up in a plus sign. I don't know if you can see that from here, but it's in a plus, whereas there are several different provided setups, and then they have suggestions for creating your own maps. Normally we play with 5 quantum cubes, but they also say you can just do as many as you want, depending on what length of game you want, how hard you want it to be. Let's jump right into it. Simplicity versus complexity.
I think that this game has a fair amount of rules, so it's complex in the learning of it. Each different die pip number has a different ability. Then you have other actions that you can always do, and the combination of those, when do you want to do those versus not? Like these are free actions here for the pip number, and so combination of those, how do you actually put out the quantum cubes, moving around and fighting someone? So I think there's a lot going on, but you only get 3 actions per turn, so that's your turn. You do 3 things or whatever combination, and that's it. And so I think that it's a reasonably understandable game once you've played it once. Even halfway through your first game, you're going to understand. And then the strategy will just build on that as you play.
There are a couple of things. There's these dice up here. You place them as 1s, and then as you destroy ships, they go up by 1. As your ships get destroyed, they go down by 1. Over here, you place it as a 1, and you can spend an action to increase it by 1 to 2, then 3. And as you do, you can put out more quantum cubes or get cards. So I mean, there's things going on, but as complex as it sounds and as complex as it is, you will be competitive in your first game. After the first round or 2, after your first turn, you'll understand what to do. And you'll start seeing places you can go to put out your quantum cubes and start winning. So it is simple. I've been able to teach it and play it very easily each time we've played.
A lot of the reason is because you have one goal. Get your cubes on the board. Not multiple ways to get points. One goal.
Right.
Pretty simple.
Luck versus strategy.
I think there's a good amount of luck in this game, even though you're rolling dice. Because you can mitigate that. You can take an action to re-roll it. You can do a certain number or a varying number of things to mitigate that, get cards, all this stuff. So I think that there's a good amount of strategy in the order you are trying to do things. Are you trying to go for quantum cubes or trying to stop people from going to quantum cubes, getting them? And so you're going to attack them and whatnot. And so I think are you going to try to get cards? Yeah, there's so many things that are strategic that are going on.
This game has its helping of luck. When you attack, you want to be the lower number. Each of you roll a die, and depending on who has, what you're going to do is you're going to add those to your die faces of the ships involved in the attack, and whoever's the lowest number is going to win. But there's no penalty for being the aggressor. You still don't lose your ship if you lose as the attacker, which kind of mitigates the die roll. But with that, this game is very strategic. You know what you need to get done. There are ways to mitigate your die rolls, and sometimes you don't even need to mitigate them. Sometimes you just have to use what you already rolled and just try to race through to the end with what you have and just be strategic and tactical about it. Fun versus boring. This game is very fun. I've enjoyed it every single time I've played. Despite it being somewhat themeless, with there aren't miniature ships, there's just these Euro-looking cubes.
But they're very pretty and see-through.
They have these cards that add a lot of theme to it, because these you can get and keep up to 3 at a time. And there's these other cards over here: expansion, momentum, aggression. They do certain things like get you extra ships and move things and whatnot. But these cards you can keep as a permanent action. You get stuff like intelligent or Ravenous. Ravenous says when you destroy an enemy ship, your dominance goes up by 2 instead of 1. But likewise, when one of your ships is destroyed, your dominance is reduced by 2.
That's this number here.
Then you get stuff like Dangerous, where it says when you defend, before players roll combat dice, you can decide to destroy both ships, and there's no dominance effect. I love that. I love when somebody says they're going to attack me, and I say, hey, I'm dangerous. And then I say, we're going to blow up. And they're like, what? Why would you do that? I'm like, hey, I'm dangerous. You knew it was on the card. You can see
He
it.
kills himself. I don't get it.
Love it. So there's,
He's arrogant as well.
and I love
Tom
being,
loves
hey,
that
I'm
card.
arrogant. So I love like these fun
Loves
cards.
himself.
I do. I'm great. I love these fun cards. I really enjoy the gameplay. It's a racing game. You're trying to race to the finish, get your cubes out fastest, and it's a lot of fun.
I think this game is super fun. I've enjoyed trying to figure out the strategy. Like I said, there's only one goal for the game, but how to get there I think is very fun to try to rack my brain with, okay, I'll move this one here, I'll get a quantum cube this turn, and I'll attack next turn, or I'll move these and set up for my quantum cube so that someone else can't stop me from getting that. I have enjoyed trying to figure out how to win, and if they've always been close games, the person right before me has won, or I've won, or whatever it is, and so they're all very close. And so I've really enjoyed that part of this game. So BGG rating, I would give this an 8.
I definitely give it a 10. Always ready to play.
Whenever we get to multiples of 500 subscribers, we give away a free glitter painting of your favorite superhero icon, but only if you're a subscriber. So make sure and subscribe.
Because it could be you that wins.
Quantum, we've presented the evidence.
You be the judge.